What the business, YouTube, episode 54. My name's Jay Florida, and today's career of discussion is a wrestler. So, what is a wrestler? A wrestler is an athlete or performer who competes in the sport of grappling, using holds, throws, and takedowns to control or pin an opponent. Now, to give you a piece of history, wrestlers have been around for thousands of years, with the earliest documented depictions tracing back 15,000 to 20,000 years ago in Upper Paleolithic cave paintings in France. It is widely recognized as the oldest organized combat sport in human history, with formalized matches dating back to ancient Sumer and Egypt over 5,000 years ago. A few basic requirements to becoming a wrestler include enrolling in a reputable wrestling school, building robust strength and cardiovascular endurance through calisthenics, networking with fellow trainees, coaches, and local promoters, building a strong online presence on social media, and applying directly online. Now, becoming an established wrestler can take you anywhere from 6 months to 3 years and cost you anywhere from $1,500 to $4,500 when considering training and gear. As far as your range as an entry-level wrestler, you can expect to make $25,000 to $75,000, with a few things affecting how much you take home, being company budget, reputation and ticket sales, promotional skills, travel costs, and medical bills. A day in life as a wrestler can be described as training and conditioning, character development, road lifestyles, juggling careers, venue appearances, and of course, physically demanding. As far as opportunity, anyone can become a wrestler if they decided to do so. Just need to build up a little bit of personality and physical prowess. With that being said, the wrestler scores green for opportunity. Now, a few examples to take note of in this field include John Cena, who is the most recognizable mainstream ambassador for the WWE with a 24-year tenure. Next, we have Mark Henry, a WWE wrestler whose accolades include World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Hall of Fame, and two-time Olympian for Team USA Powerlifting. And last but not least, we have Mercedes Moné, a central figure in the WWE Women's Revolution, who later became a global star holding championships across the NJPW, ROH, and AEW. Moving on to our fact moment segment of this episode, starting off with fact number 1. The WWE was originally known as the World Wrestling Federation, or WWF for short, from 1979 until May 6th of 2002. Fact number 2. The heaviest professional sumo wrestler in history is Aurora Satoshi, who weighed in at a peak of 645 pounds. And fact number 3, the AEW is relatively young, being founded as recently as January 1st, 2019, and their first event being the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Moving on to our last segment before we touch the circle of influence, we have health risks and mitigation, starting off with head and neck trauma as a result of forceful takedowns, head-to-head collisions, and repetitive blunt force. Weight cycling and dehydration, needing to make weight, resulting in organ damage, heat stroke, and low energy. Cardiovascular diseases, frequently exacerbated by extreme body mass and performance-enhancing drug use. And infectious diseases as a result of constant skin-to-skin contact. As far as mitigation, you should shower with antibacterial soap directly after every practice or match. Perform targeted neck, core, and shoulder exercises to better absorb impacts. Avoid using saunas, rubber suits, and laxatives for weight cutting. Establish minimum weight and body fat limits, as well as mandated cardiac screenings. Now that does it for our primary segment. I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to my co-host for the Circle of Influence. What the business, YouTube? Starting off the Circle of Influence, we have respect. Is this a career or position that brings me respect and dignity? Now, as a wrestler, You are performing stunts, entertaining crowds of people, and exhibiting physical combat, which for some reason has always fascinated people of all ages. For that reason, the wrestler's score is green. Moving on, we have growth. Is this a career or position that presents me with the opportunity to grow from a $100,000 earning threshold? For this segment, the wrestler's score is green, with sources online citing that the wrestler has the potential to make as much as $500,000, going well into the millions in a single year. Next, we have gore. Is this a career or position that will have me dealing with an abundance of blood, violent action, grotesque imagery, or scenery? And as a wrestler, you are doing a little bit of tussling. However, it is a very controlled sport that typically never reaches that level. For that reason, the wrestler scores green, as in no, you will not be dealing with the mentioned before. And for our last ideological standpoint, we have moral conflict. Is this a career or position that will have me compromise any of my foreseeable morals? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. The basic set of guidelines. And for this segment, the wrestler scores green. Now, moving on to the statistical side of things, we have gender demographics, where men make up 70% of the industry and women make up 30% of the industry. Next, we have ethnic demographics, where Caucasians account for 60% of the industry, Hispanics account for 18% of the industry, and African Americans account for 10% of the industry. And for our last segment, we have location demographics, for which being a wrestler can take you anywhere to any state. So for this segment, instead, we have top paying wrestling companies, starting off with the WWE, followed by the AEW, and closing things out with the NJPW. Now, that does it for the circle of influence. I'm going to go ahead and give the floor back to my co-host. I'm back. Just to summarize the wrestler, between training, building a personality, constant travel, potential financial instabilities, it's a very demanding career. However, once you break through the smoke, you can set up the foundation for generational wealth for yourself and your family. And most of the wrestling that is presented to us or that we see is performative. I say that to say that the non-performative wrestlers don't get as much of a shine. However, I'd like to think that they can share the same level of success as their performative counterparts. Now, with that being said, it does look like we have a full episode today. The word of the day is temper. Self-help resources on the board. As always, I'll leave it down in the description. And to show your support, if you want to see more of this content and better, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on episode 55.